So with moving day, of course, literally around the corner tomorrow, look, the number's not good. Let's just sort of tell you like it is. There are more than 2,000 households across Quebec now, still even now, searching for housing. That is 320 more than at the same time last year, and that's according to the province's own housing corporation. So you can imagine, perhaps not be surprised, that advocacy groups say they're bracing for more emergency calls this year. Felix Marois is a community organizer with the Bureau d'Animation, Information, Logement, with BAI here in Quebec, and a housing advocate, and he is on the line. Felix, thank you for your time this afternoon. It's tough to hear that you're bracing for more emergency calls, but that's just kind of the reality of it. How did we get here? What are we not doing?
So we clearly aren't providing enough affordable housing. So the vast majority of those 2,000 people who've contacted municipal services for help is because they can't find any apartment that's within their expenses. Just last week, we're learning that the average apartment, two-bedroom apartment available for rent in Montreal was nearly $2,000. Mm-hmm. This is way too high for the vast majority of tenants to pay. We're not providing affordable rent for most people. That's the main issue here.
So, we're not going to turn that clock back anytime soon. You're right. The numbers are staggering. A 71% increase in literally just under 6 years is just completely It's not even believable. We're kind of heading to a point where we're trying to compete now with Toronto and Vancouver as far as rent goes, when for so long, Montreal was the choice, and now things seem to be getting out of whack. What's the advice here, by the way, to someone faced with a situation like this tomorrow?
So we absolutely need people to contact the Municipal Housing Search Assistance Service. So they can provide you with help with not only finding another apartment, but with temporary lodging if need be. So you can find by Googling Housing Search Assistance Service, mm-hmm. or the French language acronym SARL. You'll be able to find their phone number and reach out to them. Not only will they be able to provide you services to help you find a new place, but it also allows us to know how many people are looking for an apartment. Because the 2,000 figure you mentioned earlier, this is only people who've actually reached out for help.
Right.
We have no idea how many other thousands of people are in a similar situation, but haven't reached out for help. It's very important that if you do not know where you will be staying tomorrow, reach out for help. There are services available.
So beyond 311, we had Philippe Sabourin from the City of Montreal in last week to talk about this as well. That's the first place to start, and then what?
So this is, depending on your specific situation, they'll either be able to help you set up for a reduced rent agreement with a private landlord, or be able to provide you temporary lodging from apartments they have to hotels. But this is in extraordinary situations, so it's really by case-by-case basis. But the reality is it's a very hard situation for a lot of tenants, and the services out there are lacking. The government has cut funded to the services this year. Their budget has been their extraordinary budget for July 1st has been slashed by 50% compared to last year. Even though they are facing record numbers of calls, they have less resources than last year. So the situation is dire. We need more government action, but it is, for some people, will be too late. The government has not done enough, and we know some people will become homeless tomorrow. It is the unfortunate reality of the system we're living under. People will lose their home, and some people will not be able to find a new place.
What happens in a case like that? So you get the help, the city puts you up temporarily. How long do these tend to remain that way before people actually do find a place? Do you know?
So it can vary from a few days to a few months depending on the situation. So depending on, we know that they're much quicker when it comes to families. So these services, they really do an extra effort to prevent children from becoming homeless, which is the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. But it can be anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of months. We'll see so last year it took many, many months until a majority of the people that were accompanied by these services actually found places to live.
I also read, and this is perhaps, it's troubling, I'm just not sure why that would be the case, there have been a lot more evictions this time around this year than cases of repossessions. Do you know why that's happening?
So it's just in a situation where rents have increased so much, it's very profitable for landlords to evict tenants who've been there for a long time, who are paying affordable rent in order to be able to jack it up afterwards. So evicting a tenant who's been living in their apartment for 20 years, maybe paying like $700 for a two-bedroom, you can double your profits just by evicting them and jacking up the rent.
Yeah.
So this is the high rentals, the high price for apartments is an incitement for scrupulous landlords to evict people in order to be able to increase their profits.
Which goes back, I guess, to when we found out that the average increase that's going to be allowed, right, by the rental board is almost 6%?
Yeah, absolutely. This is historic levels. We'll see it next year. Hopefully next year it should be a bit lower, but only time will tell.
By the way, and I realize it's not quite the same case, but if you find yourself and, you've been handed this, what you consider to be a pretty significant increase, what are your options here? And do you have any, or do you have to get out of there by July 1st if your lease is over and try to fight it from somewhere else? What do you do?
So if you did tell your landlord you're moving, you do have to move tomorrow. But if you receive a high rent increase, it is your right to refuse it. So you can contact your local tenants' rights organization. We're easily found online. In Montreal, every single neighborhood basically has its own organization, which will be able to not only help you calculate to see if your increase is within the standards, within the norms, but will also be able to guide you on the next steps. So you can refuse the rent hike, and that will make your landlord have to go to housing court. And then in housing court, they'll determine what your rent increase will be.
And for you talk about different communities, or pretty much every community having its own rental board. What's the umbrella site people can go to get that help?
So you can go to locataire.ca. Unfortunately, currently it's only in French.
Okay.
But it's locataire.info. And you can find a tenants' rights organization near you. But we're all members of the RECLAC. This is a group, provincial union of tenants' rights organization. But people are generally better off contacting their local organization.
Locataire.info.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it, Raynald.
It's a pleasure.
Take care.